Hello, happy Irish Fest everyone. Brian Ward, Ward's House of Prime. Today we are going to be making shepherd's pie. First we're going to start raising pan, make sure the pan's getting nice and hot. We're going to start with just a little bit of brown butter. Brown butter is just a seasoned butter. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to be sauteing the onions. And then we're going to brown the onions with the meat at the same time. So we have brown beef. We're going to take that, cook the onions and beef together. We'll get this started. I'm going to come over and... So as I'm putting the beef in, I'm just breaking it up a little, makes it a little easier to cook. Will help with our cooking process. We're gonna really get the onions and meat nice and brown. As the meat's cooking, we really want to just make sure we're breaking the meat up so it will cook consistently, cook evenly. Right, we have a good color, the meat's getting cooked. Key, turn off the heat. What we're going to do, we're going to be draining all the fat out of the meat. So I just set up a bowl with a colander, making sure we get all the fat out of the meat. We just want all the fat off. Onion, get back in the pan. Meat and onions back in the pan. We get the heat back on. We're going to be adding our carrots, diced up carrots. We're going to be adding tomato paste. Pureed garlic. We're adding beef stock also. So as we're recombining this, we're going to sit and we're going to let this simmer. Cook and simmer, and we're going to let this cook for about a half hour right now. We're going to do a slow simmer so the carrots are going to cook. Everything is going to slowly cook down. And we're going to add sage and fresh thyme. And the key in this is not having the heat too high because we want it to be a slow simmer, so we really get the carrots and all the flavors to blend together, slowly cook down the beef stock. As we're letting the shepherd's pie simmer, we're going to go over and I'm going to teach everyone how to make some scotch eggs. So we have our hard-boiled eggs, we have Italian sausage, and our scotch eggs are a little different as ours are gluten-free. I don't like to use breadcrumbs in my scotch egg mix. So what I do for binding the eggs is I'm going to use regular cracked eggs. So right now I have an Italian sausage. I like a sausage. Any pork sausage is good. I like the Italian because it's going to have a little more flavor, have a little more bite to it for the scotch egg. We're just going to crack a few eggs. with the egg, so it's gonna be what we use to bind. So when we cook the sausage, we just really want to get all the egg in there, because that is what's going to bind everything for us. All right, so as we're getting the consistency of the sausage, what we're going to want to do is we're going to ball it like we're making a giant meatball, and we're just going to kind of flatten it in our hand, and then taking a hard-boiled egg, placing it in, we're going to kind of make the meatball around the egg. So slowly putting it, there's a little more meat, we're going to want to just kind of, to the size that you'd want it to be, so that way we're just kind of making a giant meatball with the egg. And then we're using a pan, we're going to coat the pan with a little bit of vegetable spray so it's not going to stick when we bake it. When doing this, you want to make sure that the egg is not sticking out. You don't want any color showing of the egg, so you want to make sure that the egg is nice and pocketed in the sausage. We're going to be baking it in the oven at 375. We'll bake around 20 minutes or so. We'll get that started. Take a look at the Scotch eggs. See the progress of their cooking. One of the things we want to do is, as they're cooking, we're going to turn them, so that way we're going to be able to cook consistently. So they're looking good, meat's cooking nicely, not sticking to the pan. It goes back in. We're going to take a look at our shepherd's pie as it's cooking. You can see most of the liquid is cooked down. There is a little bit left. So what we're going to do is, as we continue the process of cooking, we're going to be adding our peas. So get our peas in there. Let it cook down with that just a little bit. And then in a little bit we're going to be adding roux to thicken it. We're going to let this cook a little more. Adding a little bit of roux, where we just want to thicken it, be able to thicken it up. And as we go, we're really just going to get that roux nice and mixed in, and it's going to really work it in with a whisk. Make sure that whatever of the liquid left is really getting a nice, thickening up that liquid nicely. When using a roux, you really want to make sure you work it in, so you're not getting any of the butter and flour are really breaking down into our dish. We don't want to make sure there's no chunks left over. And then really working on the consistency of our product. It's beautiful. Alright, now our shepherd's pie is all done. We're going to be serving it on top of mashed potatoes. You'll see it, some people like the potatoes on the top. It's great in a bread bowl. There's our shepherd's pie. Ready? Alright, one of the ways I like to finish the Scotch eggs, so most Scotch eggs are fried in oil in some way. We're baking them, that's what holds it together. is baking them instead of going right in the fryer. It's going to give the sausage a lot more tenderness, a lot more juiciness instead of just straight frying it away. But to finish everything, we're going to pan fry just to crisp the outside and really seal the sausage. So I like to use a canola oil at home. Using a vegetable oil is just fine. We're gonna get the oil hot in the pan and then check back on our eggs, make sure. As you can see, as the eggs are still baking, we have really good color to the egg, searing nicely, cooking all the way through. And then what we're gonna do is when we fry it, it's just really gonna crisp the outside nicely, give a nice sear to the egg. Right now we have our pan nice and hot. We're going to take the eggs, put them in the oil. Really, we're just getting a really nice coating on them. This is something you're not going to want to walk away from because the eggs can burn up really quick in a hot oil. And really all we're doing is putting a nice sear crust on them. We're not really cooking them anymore. We're just getting a real nice color to them, real nice outside. And really, while cooking these, you're only going to leave them in the oil for under a minute because we're just looking for this nice color to them. Right when it's the consistency we want it, we're going to take them back out. So all we're doing is adding that nice little color. We're going to be coming over here. There's Eddie saying that. I like to serve the eggs cut in half. Just bring it over a cutting board. I'm going to cut in. You'll see the egg, hard-boiled egg, sausage cooked all the way through. You can serve it in pieces, you can quarter them, however you want to serve them. The festivals, we like to serve them on a stick. Sauces go great with them. A honey mustard goes great. I prefer mine with a Dijon. Anything that's... So today we have a little Grey Poupon. You can just a little bit. Really, it's just tap it in, gives it a little bit of the flavor. It's like a great breakfast dish, great appetizer. Hope you enjoyed watching everything today. We missed being at Irish Fest this year. We look forward to seeing you in the future. Happy Irish Fest.
Greetings to all in Milwaukee, Irish Fest at home, and Congratulations. Congratulations to you all for making the festival happen at home. I'm coming to the end of a 4-year posting, and it's been full of incredible experiences, but Milwaukee Irish Fest has been an absolute highlight every year that I've attended. What will I miss most? Well, hands down the people, the performers from Ireland, the performers from the US, the organisers, the volunteers, the people behind the scenes, all make the festival so special. I mean, everything that I love is there in Milwaukee. Great music, great dance, great performances, a great setting, great food, and thankfully, in my time anyway, great weather. As Consul General, I've cherished the relationship. I know this was to be the 40th festival, and sadly it was going to be the first festival without the founder, Ed Ward, a man that I feel privileged to have met. But I know that the spirit of Ed will live on, and that the festival will come back stronger than ever in person in years to come. So while I won't be Consul General anymore, I will make a point of getting back to Milwaukee, and hopefully Colin Kennedy will still give me a ride on our golf cart. So Bear Bua, Agus Bannacht to all of you, and have a great Milwaukee Irish Fest at Home festival.